Till now we had learned about ideal gases, which followed ideal gas equation. From kinetic theory of gases, we also learned about some basic assumptions we consider for an ideal gas. But in real life, gases do not follow all of these, like the assumption that gas particles do not have interparticle interaction and gas particles do not have any volume of their own. Gases which violate these assumptions are called real gases. In this video, we will talk about real gases, that is, gases which occupy volume of their own and have interparticle interactions. Let's look at the nature of interparticle interaction varying with distance between the particles. There are two opposing types of interactions the real gas experiences. When the particles are far from each other, they experience attractive forces, and when they get very close, they repel each other. These attractive forces are relatively long-range forces. Repulsion takes place only when the particles are very close to each other. These are very short-range forces, even on atomic scale. And when the gas particles are very far apart, that is at the right end of the graph, the attractive forces becomes insignificant. But when the temperature of gas becomes very low, even this insignificant attractive force causes the particles to slowly come together and get condensed. So at low pressure and high temperature, real gases too feel no interparticle interaction and behave like an ideal gas. But in other cases, real gases behave differently than ideal gas. We use van der Waals equation to relate the pressure and volume of an ideal gas. Look at the two correction factors used in this equation. A and B are found experimentally such that the nature of any particular real gas fits in this equation. Hence, A and B are different for different gases. Usually, pressure applied by real gas is lower than ideal gas due to interparticle interaction. Hence, we add this correction factor. We also know real gases occupy volume of their own. Hence, the actual volume available for their movement is lower than the volume of the container. Hence, this correction factor. Now we will learn about new term compressibility factor Z, which captures the deviation of real gases from ideal gas. It is defined by actual volume occupied by 1 mole of gas divided by volume occupied by 1 mole of ideal gas. If we plot the graph of compressibility factor versus pressure, for ideal gases Z will always be 1. But for other gases, Z will deviate from 1 for different pressures. Gases at very high pressure gets very close to each other, and hence it becomes difficult to compress them compared to ideal gas. Hence in this range, its Z factor is greater than 1, as 1 mole of this gas will tend to occupy more volume compared to ideal gas due to dominating repulsive forces. Whereas at intermediate pressure, attractive forces dominate for some gases. Hence 1 mole of the gas will occupy less volume than in ideal condition due to attraction. Hence here its compressibility factor will be less than 1. Notice that H2 does not show Z less than 1 because it has almost no attractive forces between its particles. This term can also be written as PV by RT because V0 is RT by P. You can remember either of these expressions and derive one from another easily using ideal gas equation. Just remember that here we consider n equal to 1. Now let's again see how pressure versus volume curve of an ideal gas looks like using this isotherm of a very high temperature. A real gas would also follow similar nature at high temperature isotherm. But the real gases do feel interparticle interaction, and due to this, they get condensed to form liquid when they come very close to each other. That is when pressure is high or temperature is low. Let's consider another isotherm at slightly lower temperature for a real gas. It shows some deviation from ideal condition. But still, the interaction is not so strong that they get condensed. But for a particular temperature's isotherm, there comes a particular pressure at which the gases get condensed. This temperature and pressure is called critical temperature and critical pressure, and its corresponding volume is called critical volume. At higher temperature, the gases does not condense no matter how high a pressure we apply. At critical temperature, the gas condenses at critical pressure and remains liquid even if we increase pressure. But there is very slight change in volume after this point, and the curve gets very steep because it is difficult to compress a liquid compared to a gas. At even lower temperatures isotherm, it requires less pressure for the condensation to start. At this point, unlike critical point, the whole gas does not get condensed altogether, but it enters a two-phase region. Here the volume keeps decreasing without any change in pressure till the gas gets completely condensed. The constant pressure is called vapor pressure of the liquid. Vapor pressure of a liquid depends on the temperature, and at this pressure a liquid can freely transform from liquid to gas and back without any need to change the pressure. After the complete gas has become liquid, on further increasing pressure, there is again a very slight change in volume and the curve gets steeper. Let's look at different regions of this graph. In this region, the gas always remains a gas. In this region, it remains a liquid. This is two-phase region, where there is a clear boundary between liquid and gas. And in this region, gas is called vapor, because in other region gas can never condense.